Good. See, I didn't have the
What
right
happened?
screen. Nothing happened. I just had the wrong screen under the countdown screen because it'll transition to the next one. Once again, the learning curve
Hello.
on full display.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Your Favorite Ants,
Yes.
where you know how your ants don't know how to use their cell phone?
Yeah. I'm those. I'm that.
That's that's us.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far. I know how to use a cell phone. I would
No, you
say
do.
it's all this other newfangled technology that these kids have me working on. It's just, is this better for me? Is this better light?
Ooh. Yeah, I like that lighting on
All
you.
right, we're good. Hello, everyone. Welcome to
Hello.
another Friday afternoon treat. If you're watching us live on the internet, we're glad you're here. Please
So
go ahead
glad.
and say hello in the comments. Tell us who you are, where you're from. And also, this is a part Q and O show. Q and a question and opinion. So if you've got a question about anything, life, love, or otherwise, go ahead and leave those in the comments below. We'd love to get to them. Yeah. But first and foremost, as we do every single week, we want to check in with ourselves. So Sarah, I want to know, how the hell are you?
I'm good. I am in Oregon, where I'm living for July and August, and you're in my home, which I kind of love.
It's a
Um,
very, very convenient moment for sure.
It is. It's like, oh, there's my house. And I'm working on a 1973 Airstream. And my mom and dad have been with me, and my friend George as well. And the last couple of days, we've just been like, I'm not kidding you, like pulling everything out, guys. I found a needle in my air conditioner yesterday.
Like a
Hmm.
hypodermic needle?
Yep.
Neat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which, if you're following along in the journey, and please do follow me on Instagram, and pretty soon there's going to be some YouTube content and also TikTok once I learn how to do TikTok. I have to tell you, I found a dildo in there, so the hypodermic needle is not that shocking.
Levels upon levels. I wonder what these BBs were doing.
I don't know.
Having a lot of fun.
Yeah, a lot happened in that trailer. So
Mm-hmm.
it has been super fun, but my parents' flight got messed up this morning because Bend is a very tiny airport, as April, who is on, by the way, on right now from her office, can tell you. It's a tiny, tiny airport, and so it bumps your flight, and then there's no way of getting out of here. So my parents are here, which is great. They're here for another day, which I'm really glad, because I was having a little bit of the sads. So one of the things that you asked how I'm doing. One of the things that I know is that I need to go through this like time alone. And yet I'm
Grief.
like, I know. And yet I'm a little bit resistant to it. Like
I mean,
I
who
know
isn't resistant to being sad? Please, like, you.
yeah. And there's some
That's
things
not weird
about
by any
Bend.
stretch.
There's a really painful ex story here. He still lives here. And I think there's still some ghosts that I wasn't prepared to experience. Like being in the airport today, I was like, oh, the last time I was in this airport, which was over a year ago, he was waiting for me at the bottom of the escalator, and life looked totally different. And we laughed about this Yeti statue. And so I had you just got to let it, in order to
I mean,
experience
that's
it.
one way to deal with it. I would have just not gone back to that town ever in my whole life. So you, Sarah Heath, are a lot braver than I am.
I mean, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Um, anyway, so it's been great. It's good to be here. It's also just really beautiful up here. So it's super fun. So how the hell are you being
Mo-
in Southern California?
Southern sunny California. I think I'm still riding the high from last Saturday, to be honest.
Oh, same.
If you didn't know, Sarah and I, and along with our friends Brenda, Grace, and Joe, had a really cool event called Wonderfully Made here in Los Angeles, and we had a really, really good time. I think everybody who came to the event also had a good time as well. Like, it was cool
Yeah.
to create a spiritual experience that was free of manipulation, and was just like, hey, this is what we've experienced. If you want to try this, please do. And it was really cool. And I've been getting a lot of really, really good feedback from people, which
Same.
makes me excited about it continuing forward. For today, like, I had my middle of the day was a little bit, all right, well, my plans might be shifted rapidly, but because I had a friend of mine who's been experiencing some COVID-esque symptoms, even though he's gotten vaccinated, and then a mutual friend of ours who I will not name because medical stuff, obviously.
HIPAA.
Yeah. He just tested positive for COVID, even though he's been vaccinated since before you could get vaccinated. So the Delta variant is real, everyone.
It is.
And so, please get vaccinated. My friends have been saying also just like symptoms are mild. It's just like a thing. And so they're doing all the precautionary things they need to do, quarantining for 14 days from now. And I got a rapid test today just in case. Like one of my other friends' test is getting tested. They'll get their results back today. I took a rapid test and a PCR test, and my rapid test came back negative, which is great. And my PCR test should come back tomorrow. And in the event that I am positive, then I guess I'll be locking down in your house for an additional 10 days.
Which I am all about. I'm fine with that.
Well, thank you for your hospitality, your taste, and your Netflix subscription. Truly a gift.
That's been the fun thing about having my parents around is, well, not the only fun thing, but we love British murder mysteries. And so we've been like going out to breweries here and like walking around, and then at night, like trying to get back in time to at least watch, because British shows are so long that we're like trying to get back in time to be able to watch a murder mystery together. So I'm just afraid that my friend whose home I'm living in, he's going to come back. He's a flight nurse. And so he's all over the state, and he's actually in Washington right now. But I'm just afraid that he's going to come back and be like, who's been watching all this murder on my TV? Broadchurch. Yes.
Yes.
Girl.
Brittany,
Yes.
Brittany, Broadchurch is everything to me.
Everything. It's so good. Also, I'm just having so much fun reading where everyone is calling in from. That's not how we say it. Logging in? Do we say logging
watching
in?
from, streaming
Watching
from.
from.
Em's watching from Northern Indiana. Luke is watching from Kentucky. A friend from Kansas City. What a sweet time.
It's so fun.
It really is cool. So thank you for joining us. If you want to send this to somebody else, and also I think we've never had so many people just like in the middle of the afternoon here.
Yeah, we're getting better. We're working really hard on timing, and we understand that like this is a really hard time for people. So thank you for doing this.
Yeah, thanks for coming and hanging out. We're working on a different time. We'll probably move to a weeknight sometime in the future, but for right now, what are you gonna do?
Thank you for logging in from work, friends.
Listen, there's so many people who are just like, I'm not gonna work on this. It's summertime. Like, I'm vaxxed and waxed and ready to back it up. You know what I'm saying? With consent.
I do have to ask you, Kevin, what is the temperature there?
Alexa, what's the temperature here right now?
Right now, it's
81 degrees Fahrenheit. Sunny, blue skies, and delightfully just delicious.
Yeah, here let's see what it is. It's been going up into the 90s, which can you imagine in a trailer? It's been real hot.
No! It's supposed to be
86.
getting cool as I go up the coast. It can't be getting hot.
Yeah, I don't know if like Jesus loves you more than me, but the temperature starts dropping beginning tomorrow.
Well, that's good. I need it to. I'm ready for. I'm ready to. I didn't bring any sweaters with me, and so I think I might go to like the Salvation Army thrift shop today and find some like cute sweater situations. I'm having this moment in the middle of my journey where like I hate everything I have. I don't want to wear the same clothes anymore. I didn't bring barely. I only brought like athletic shorts. I didn't bring any cute shorts. Not that my athletic shorts aren't cute.
With you coming up here, I'm having this moment of like, oh, here are the 3 things I forgot.
Yeah, which I'm fine with. One time I matched with a guy on Grindr who happened to be from the same city as me during Christmas time in my mom's hometown, and he asked me if I could take his cast iron that his mom gave him for Christmas back to Atlanta, and then he would cook for me with it. And guess what? He did. So this is not the first time I have been a courier for people.
Well, everything I want is pretty small, I promise.
Well, I've got space in my heart and in my car. No worries, mate.
So, shall we move on to the next section, which is Have You Heard?
Yes, Have You Heard is a section of the show where we talk about some hot topics, pop culture, and otherwise, whatever we really want to talk about, which is kind of what this whole show is about, if we're being honest.
It's really just our excuse to talk weekly with you guys. That's it. We just want to check in with you, see how you're doing.
Yeah, so let me pull up the notes. We've got some things. So if you have not been following what's been going on the internet, Japan has declared a state of emergency in the wake of their COVID-19 continuing to spill
Correct.
out. And it's just like, oh my God, like, what?
No fans. There
So-
will be no fans. So we're still doing the Olympics, which I know people have strong feelings about the Olympics. I happen to love the Olympics. I understand that for some people, there's the issue of like the areas and what it does to the environment in that area and all that sort of thing. For me, I think we as a world, it's an opportunity for us to be in community with people from other countries, and I think that doesn't happen very often anymore. And so it's it's an opportunity for, like, I love watching opening ceremonies. I'll admit to it. Like,
Can you imagine not having a audience for an opening ceremony?
I know.
How much time, how many people, and have nobody really be able to watch. I mean, like, online and like watched live, I'm sure, like, but I mean, I can tell you, like, the difference, but like, we know already because we just had a live event. There's a huge difference
Right.
between having real people to interact with and doing an online thing, which is fine. I love an online thing, but man, it's different.
So I was an athlete in high school and a little bit in college, and I wasn't recruited for college, but I played on a club team. So I can tell you that so I sprinted the 400. I know what you're thinking. You don't look like a 400 sprinter, but I made it to state in
Yeah,
Mississippi.
well, guess
which
what?
is
Neither did Sha'Carri Richardson, but she's now the fastest woman in the world, bitch.
True.
Anyways,
Nowhere near that speed. But I remember going to like South State, and my family was in from England, and I could hear them yell for me. And I have to tell you, as much as I had trained and worked, it hits you to hear fans screaming. It hits you, and it actually affects your performance. So it'll be interesting to see how people do without having fans. Especially things like gymnastics or things that like the rhythmic gymnastics and things like that are very audience based. Like I know the judges will be there, so that'll have some of that,
but still, like, the judges are like they're paying attention. They can't actually like enjoy the performance as much. They're trying to like look for all the technicalities, like look for all the things wrong with your performance,
right. So you're not working it, which is like a big part of performance based.
I also want to say
Olympic events.
there's two other beefs I have with the Olympics right now. One, Simone Biles not being able to perform her tricks that only she can do.
Oh, because they can't judge her against anyone.
Yeah, I'm just
sorry.
But like, I'm so sorry that she is so fucking fabulous that she has intricate, cool moves that she invented that should, like, I don't know, work it in. It's a new thing. Like, if
Or
so.
just-
Like, you can't say it doesn't exist. It's like when people say, "Oh, you can't be gay and Christian." I'm just like, guess what? There are, and like, you can't say that move
Which
does.
should be an Olympic event.
Yeah, exactly. I want to win the gold for gay. Gold for gay. I'm
Just
already a
always
gold
remind-
star gay. I just want to be a gold medal gay now.
Well, especially when people ask you if you're practicing gay, and you're like, no, I'm a professional. Well, now you can say I'm Olympic.
I'm an Olympian homosexual.
Yeah, you are. I'm an Olympic homosexual.
And the other things I would like to say is the trans misogyny happening against African women who they got their levels tested, and they said, hey, your testosterone levels are higher than the average woman, therefore you are not allowed to compete in your event unless you take some drugs to lower your hormone levels or have some sort of like surgery. So you're telling me, and this is where like the trans misogyny comes in, it's just like you're defining what a woman is, and you're asking a female-bodied, an AFAB person to have a surgery to fit more into that thing when you're already mad that trans people are getting surgeries in order to fit into this binary that you made up. And then the people who already do fit within the binary don't even fit within the binary. The levels.
It's hard too, because I think it's the Olympics are having to face it, but a lot of sports are like, who can compete in what area. And I think it's important. But we're in that like awkward time. The thing is that's true about COVID too, is athletes who, this was their moment, like 2020 was their year, 2020 and 2021. And then they lost that year to compete. And then the other issue is for some of the trans people, this is their time. And while we're trying to figure out the rules, we have people who are like, this is their time. This is like,
And also just like
unfortunately-
it's just like it doesn't make any sense to me because it's just like their testosterone levels are naturally occurring within their bodies. This is pure God-grown talent, and you're telling them that they can't do something because how they naturally are in the world is too strong.
Are they saying that it's too
Like
male?
they're saying, yeah, they're saying that your testosterone levels in this running event gives you an unfair advantage over the other women, even though it's not their fault they have higher testosterone levels. They're just African women who have been running their entire lives.
Ooh, this feels like racism.
Wow.
And by it feels like it actually is.
Yeah, so all that to say, I'm still going to probably watch. Am I going to be
Same.
happy all the time? No.
No, but that is the point, right? I think we can engage the things that that need to be changed, and also enjoy the things that are lovely and wonderful.
Yes, and Simone Biles will be one of those things that I am enjoying.
I can watch Simone Biles, like she could just stand there with that strength.
Just,
Come on.
I can
I
see
think
it
that
now.
okay.
I'm
so
manifesting gold for her.
Here's what I'm going to say, and I talked a little bit about this recently. I can't remember if it was on this podcast or when I was being interviewed for something. So I am a woman who is what a lot of people would consider pretty femme, but I'm also a woman who is really strong. So like when I work in my Airstream, like my muscle mass is very easily for me to gain, even though I'm petite. Like I've always had really strong arms
Yeah.
and strong legs, and when I watch the Olympics or I watch female soccer or whatever it is, it's like I get to see another version of femininity that seems so strong and powerful and beautiful, and it gives me a new understanding of what beauty is.
Yes.
And I think that's why I find this stuff so important. And so for folks who don't like sports, I totally get it, but I think because of my body build, it's like an opportunity for me to see my body in something.
And I think that's like the thing too, is like it really does celebrate all of this beauty. And it's not to say that like this is correct. This is just a way of being.
And there's lots to talk about like eating disorders and all that sort of stuff that goes on in the Olympics. But I also think there is some good to be had in the Olympics. Okay, enough of the Olympics.
Enough.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
So, I want to talk about how do we feel about Ben Affleck and J-Lo getting back together? How do we feel about this? It's everywhere.
So that happened. I mean, I haven't. What's the latest tea? Are people just reacting to it now because it's been a few months now?
Yeah, no, people are reacting to it now because I guess all these new photos came out, and Jennifer Lopez doesn't look like Jennifer Lopez in the photos. She looks a little like, she doesn't look like herself. I don't know why, but also people are commenting constantly. What is it, do you think? Do you think that, this is the thing I wanted to ask you about it. Do you think it's that all of us secretly have like, well, not you, because you're so healthy when it comes to this stuff, but like that ex that we all think we want to get back with? Like just a little bit, and it might not be true at all, but when we're like single and sad, like they're the person that we think about. Do you think that's what it is all of us are like, it's good to see someone win in that? Like we all know Ben Affleck. No offense to Ben Affleck, but I feel like all the women he's been with, he's been a little bit less than.
You know, as far as when you say less than, do you mean the caliber of his character? Or
No, I'm being super superficial.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, well, the thing is, I find Ben Affleck to be incredibly aesthetically pleasing on multiple levels for multiple reasons.
Okay, so maybe it's just not my type.
Might be. And so, and like, I mean, like, I think about it this way, like, think back to like someone who you still have a little bit of love in your heart for, just like, and you think like 10 years down the line, just like, why couldn't I have met them 10 years down the line after I was already healthy and he was already healthy? Yeah. And maybe like for J-Lo and Ben, it was just like they had to go a couple years down the line, and it's all of a sudden like, hey, so it's like, do we have chemistry all of a sudden again? It's like, yeah, do you want to exploit? I bet you like, maybe that's how it happened. And according to the internet, they're going to move in together, which I think that's stupid.
Yeah, that feels really fast.
I'm just like,
because
maybe they know, and they're just ready. Maybe they're lesbians, For lesbians, it's a different thing.
Someone explain this. recently. What is it called? The U-Haul Are you a
Oh,
U-Haul lesbian?
are you a U-Haul lesbian? It's a phenomenon within queer lady culture, where it's just like your first date is at a reading of the vagina monologues, and your second date is renting a U-Haul.
Oh my gosh.
And so,
I'm
but like also just like there's U-Haul success stories out there, but then there's
tons.
and then there's
Tons.
also like me, like you think you're being measured, and then things don't always work out.
So one thing I've noticed when we are around each other is that both of us sing things when it's like an awkward thing. A lot of other humans don't do that. So both of us on from stage are like, this is weird. Like the number of penis jokes I made during our event.
I thought it
am
was
so
very good.
sorry.
Why? Like,
I'm not sorry.
Thank
It was
you.
just like I was in public again and I didn't really know what to do. And also that was like my first day, literally no longer being a pastor.
Also,
A
just
local
like
church pastor.
you were like
Still a
you
pastor.
you were trying out some new material. I
Is
thought
that what
it.
I was doing?
Yeah, I thought it landed really well, to be honest.
Oh, someone else says they also sing awkward things. Yes.
Jordan's like, yeah, I know what's going on. Because like, if you can sing through the awkward, it makes it a little less awkward.
Right.
But anyway, never apologize for penis jokes, says M. Yeah.
It was like like I was talking about how someone said their frying pan was 8 inches, but clearly, probably them was 6. Like, guys, I don't know what was happening.
Listen,
I don't know.
every now and again, when a man's talking about how big his frying pan is, like it's like, wow, looks pretty wide there, and then you got to say, well, never had any complaints. I always get the cooking done.
Oh, that makes me nervous.
Why?
I don't know. I'm sweating though a lot. Okay.
But yeah, I feel to bring it back to J Lo and Ben Affleck. I think it's fine. I think it's great. I enjoy them, and I have nothing more really to say.
Do you want to talk about a funny news thing that I saw this week?
I do. I want you to bring up anything you want.
A hoverboard exploded in someone's home in Utah and burned down their house. That's not funny. The funny thing is that they had a hoverboard in their home.
Well, when we say a hoverboard, we mean those things that's like 2 wheels and you like lean forward on it.
Uh-huh.
This is not surprising. This is not the first time that this has happened before, right?
Really?
I've heard stories where just like these little shits just combust all over the place. Like this is not the first time that this has happened.
Yeah. So it was charging when a kid wasn't on it, but it was charging. And then it exploded, and the mom with the oven mitt saved the home. So
the house did not burn down, or what?
it
Partially caught fire?
It burst into flames, but it didn't. They were able to use an extinguisher, but the home is damaged.
Wow. Well, I hope
I just thought you should know.
Thank you for letting me know. I'll be sure when I'm charging my hoverboard in your apartment that I don't leave it charging. I don't have a
You better
hoverboard.
not have a. Okay.
He's like, you better not have a hoverboard in my. You can do weed in my home. You can have a dog in my home, but don't you dare have a hoverboard.
Don't you dare without me. Oh my gosh, how cute would it be on matching hoverboards?
Okay, I want a one wheel. Have you seen those things?
Oh, I think I thought that's what a hoverboard was.
So no, there's two. The hoverboard is those things where it's like this, and like you lean forward on it, and you lean back, and like you can like.
Kind of like when those city things you see where people are like traveling in cities.
Sure.
Well, when you go to like, people will do the.
Oh,
what are
you
they
mean the
called?
the old school
People
ones.
help us. Someone help us, and
It's
they're in a thing, and they tip forward.
And you have the helmet on. You look
and
really
your
dumb.
helmet, and you're clearly like on a tour. Somebody help us.
Somebody, we know that you know this. It's called a
Starts with
Segway.
an S.
It's a Segway.
Segway!
It's a
And
Segway.
the guy who invented it died because of a Segway accident. He like went off the cliff right by my house. So when you're in the back bay, yeah, the guy that invented them lived in that area. And then the thing mall cops ride, correct. And he like leaned forward and like went off the cliff. That's what I've heard. Might be a wives' tale. Let's spread that.
I don't know. The guy who invented the hoverboard died because he fell off a cliff.
Not the hoverboard, the guy that invented the
Segway.
Segway. People fact check us.
Who
We
in-
need an assistant so we can just be like, fact check us.
It's like, hey, could you? The guy who invented Segway, Dean Kamen, the British businessman who bought Segway company less than a year, died after riding one of the scooters. So not the guy who invented it, but the guy who owned it, died a year after riding a scooters off a cliff near the Yorkshire Estates Jim.
So
Um,
what you're telling me is that they're cursed.
what I'm telling you is that this person was driving near a fucking cliff. What was he doing?
I mean,
I
I don't know where you.
Yeah, and so for me, I don't plan on being near a cliff. I don't plan on being in anywhere near any sort of danger. I want to ride myself through the woods on my little one wheel.
But a
which
hoverboard is a Segway without the handlebars. Am I right?
essentially, yes.
Okay. And then a one wheel.
Looks like a
Is it
skateboard.
electronic?
Yeah, it's electric. So you stand on it. The wheelbase is in the middle, but you ride it
And
like
you
a
still
skateboard.
use your core.
Yeah, you're still balancing. So like leaning forward increases, like leaning back decreases the speed. But overall, like it's more like a skateboard. And like,
Okay.
but they can get up to like 20 miles, 20, 25 miles an hour and go uphill like really serious. Like you can like surf over the land. You can like take that to the beach. Can you imagine me running with my dog on the beach with that? Well, not running, it would
Oh.
be hovering as it were. Or wheeling?
Wheeling.
Wheeling.
Someone help us out. Oh, Dirty Rotten Church Kids rides a one wheel all the time. Of course, Josh.
Yeah,
does.
I saw that in there and I'm like, I want that.
I just changed out of my Dirty Rotten Church Kid shirt because I spilled my cold brew all down the front.
Oh no.
No, it's sad. So let's go into grievances because I do have a topic for us to talk about.
I'm ready to hear your something that you had complained about. And so something we observed last week too is that like pop culture, like this first thing is like both like pop culture and we're complaining
Did you
about
hear?
things in pop culture. And then we also have the airing of grievances, which is like specific things that in the world that are bothering us that are different from our first segment. How is it different? Don't know. Don't
We
ask
don't really
me.
know.
I don't care.
Yeah. So I don't even know. Maybe this is more like a pop. Anyway, it's not pop culture because it's terrible. But the Haitian president being assassinated.
Oh,
Whoa!
yeah.
And then it's like foreign nationals, and there's all sorts of. But the thing that's really hard is like there is no. What happens now? There is no president to step in. And the thing that I think is making why I feel like it's a grievance is I've noticed just more and more we've got so many very conservative leaning governments across the world, and it makes me concerned as someone who studies someone who's interested in world occurrences. So it seems really fascinating that this guy who a lot of people have said was incredibly conservative was assassinated. But now what's going to happen? And so I just had to bring it up because I think it's a big thing that's going on in the world. And we're kind of hearing about it. I think the grievance for me is like, what is American news saying about it? Or is it just like, it's that thing that's happening over there and it doesn't affect us at all?
I think, I mean, like, if anything,
But it
like,
does.
it does affect us because what affects, if all minds are joined, which is what I believe, like, then, yeah, we're all affected by that. And I think if you look at, like, what's been going on in American culture over the past, past 4 years, especially in the past year during election season, is it's no accident. There is like a power structure in the world that is beginning to dissolve. Power is beginning to shift into the hands of the people. And as such, governments are reacting. They're doing everything in their power, because like they want things out of a true desire probably to maintain peace within their own communities or at least within themselves. They're grasping at these programs and these systems that have served them for so long, and now enough people are awake and saying, actually, it doesn't have to be this way anymore. And as such, like, there is in some ways an equal and opposite reaction until
Right, it's a pendulum.
and so as such, this is where like the work of what we do here in the world is important. We have to do not grow weary of doing good. Do not grow weary of doing your own personal work, so that when you do have an opportunity to do something right, when you do have an opportunity to like, I don't know, send some relief money or like be educated or at least correct somebody.
Be curious. I feel like it's be curious. I think that's again why I'm such a advocate. It's not advocate, but the reason why the Olympics matter to me is like I think it helps build curiosity about other countries. It's especially having been from another country and moving to America. I think a lack of curiosity about other countries is really very unique in American culture, and
I'd
because
agree.
they're not like they're attached by Canada and Mexico, and we're
And we don't know shit about, like, Americans, like, are not, I mean, like, and that's on purpose.
right. No. It's like almost a joke. Like, oh, you're from another. Oh, but you're like you're America's top hat, and it's like you're not curious about my culture or what I grew up with. And I think that there is just an opportunity for us to be curious about why this insurrection happened, why this an assassination happened. What does that mean, and how does that play out? So that was my
And I think
Grievance
that we could
curiosity.
easily just do this as a nice little, like, plug for our friend Brad Onishi's new series coming out soon.
Yes.
Brad's coming out with a new thing called The Orange Wave. And it's
Wave.
actually a conversation about how evangelical Christianity had its start right here in Orange County.
Sure did with the Jesus people.
What's interesting too is I'm actually like going over. I'm going to be working with my friend Azariah Southworth possibly on a new series that we're calling Chasing Lonnie, and it's the story of Lonnie Frisbee. Do you know who Lonnie Frisbee is?
Isn't Lonnie Frisbee the surfer who kind of helped like make the Jesus people happen?
The Jesus Movement.
Yes.
Yeah, he was one of like hippie preacher. Went down to like Joshua Tree, like did shrooms, had a like really powerful experience, and converted to Christianity, and was having like this like really really powerful movement of
Right.
people getting in touch with God. And so here's my theory about what happened. The Jesus movement, like that started with hippies, actually had a really, really good thing going because they believed that Jesus, God, love was for everyone. That was their thing.
Right.
Jesus is for you no matter what. Problem happened.
Jesus is still all right with me. Sorry, no one else. Okay, great.
I mean, I know that one, but I'm just like, wow, that's the choice that you made for this moment.
Uh-huh.
But anyways, along comes Calvary Chapel. Calvary Chapel was this little church in Costa Mesa that was actually failing, was falling apart. Gets a hold of Lonnie Frisbee and says, hey, we want to empower you. We want to partner with you to like really get this Jesus movement thing moving. And thus launched one of the most powerful denominations in the known world, including the Vineyard Church movement, which was born out of the Calvary Chapel movement. However, Lonnie Frisbee died in 1993 of AIDS.
Also,
And they erased him from the church history books because of that. But the thing was, Lonnie Frisbee, well, he was living this double life as like, you know, openly queer and having, you know, his gay lovers and whatnot, while also being married. And I look at that and I'm like, I get that. I would have been doing the same thing.
so the grievance that comes up for me, and that is we have a dear friend who also got married and had kids because that was the thing they were supposed to do. And if you got married and had kids, then you can just get the gay out of you, right? Like I don't have to live as a gay man, but unfortunately you're still a gay man. So
Really?
and not unfortunately,
Really?
but
I mean,
the thing that I
unfortunately, if you don't want it, it's very unfortunate if you don't want it.
I remember sitting with this friend of ours, our mutual friend, and he was saying the hardest thing for me is I can't explain to my ex-wife, who was not just like I love her best friend, and she's so angry with me. And I want to say to her, the church hurt not just you, but it hurt us. Like you need to be mad at the church too, because the church was the one that, even though in premarital counseling I was telling you I had same-sex attraction, quote unquote, we still thought if we get married, and like she's so angry at him instead of angry at the system that created this narrative where he had to get married and have kids, even though that didn't fulfill like where he was at. And so I think the grievance in this story is this person's been written out of history as if it's not fact, right? This beautiful thing that was created, no one wants to talk about it. And then also that we force people to disregard their sexuality. And it doesn't just hurt the gay person, it hurts the person that they marry or the person that they, you know, because I have sat with women who have been in relationships with people who turns out their sexuality didn't match what they were trying to be. And it hurts your your ego in a way that we can't understand, just having been broken up with, right? Like I've been broken up with because of someone else in the background that I didn't even know existed. I can't imagine what that says when that sexuality is different. And so I think there's so many pieces to this. I think about his wife, right? Like the person who thought she was married to someone who started an entire movement, right? Like Frisbee's wife.
Yeah.
And now to realize like, oh, the story is so much bigger.
And like they also got like she knew about it, and also by the end of their life they divorced. So like she was aware of all of who he was by the end of his life. So I believe that there was some reconciliation. She's still alive too. We're actually trying to contact her.
I'm excited for you guys to do this. Does this mean you'll be in Orange County more? Not that I know I'll be there, but
je ne sais pas possiblement, because I would really love to just like, because like, wouldn't it be cool? Like I'm thinking like a serial style podcast where like we're going around just like who was this who was this person actually on both sides? Who was he in the movement? And who was he
after this? Because I've got connections.
I live. And also like a friend of mine is like allegedly a couple degrees of separation from some of Lonnie Frisbee's former lovers.
Ooh.
And so I'm like, I want to know who he was. I want to know at what point, like how did it all go down? And the thing that spurred this whole thing on was this past Sunday, me and my friend went to what was formerly known as the Crystal Cathedral, which is now owned by
You guys did?
Yeah, because
you didn't tell me.
That's where Lonnie Frisbee's buried.
Oh, that's why you were going to Lonnie Frisbee. Okay.
Lonnie Frisbee's buried at what was formerly Crystal Cathedral, now owned by the Catholic Diocese.
Because we were going to hang out, but then something happened with your Airbnb and you had to rush.
The whole 9 yards.
Got it.
But yeah, it was really, really interesting. So like we've just been waxing poetic and thinking about what would have happened if he wasn't
closeted.
If he wasn't closeted. What would have happened if there was like a movement of Christianity that happened at the time that was inclusive? You know, there's because like I think about all this all the time is that Lonnie Frisbee possibly, I think like, you know, he had an experience. He met, you know, the Christ, he met God or whatever, had this experience of the divine and was sharing that with other people, and it was continuing to move forward. And so when someone else who has authority or power or like says, I know Jesus too, wants to give you money, wants to give you resources, it's very appealing. And so I feel like this is another one of those moments where a Jesus movement was truly hijacked by the church.
Oh, that sentence. Whoo! I'm going to process that. Jesus movement was hijacked by the church. Yep. We gotta figure out how to like make it into a systematic thing, and that's what we do, right? We turn things into a bureaucracy. We hide the things that seem ugly. We turn it into some sort of like way of it, capitalism coming in. It's just a very fascinating thing that we try to do.
Yeah, and I think even like when we think about those moments, we don't like at the time they didn't have the eyes to see it. You know, they didn't have time because it's like, oh yeah, this church is meaning well and they want to like spread the name of Jesus. Yeah, that's what we want to do too. But they didn't recognize how closely tied it was to like the GOP and how like where it was. They couldn't have known.
And this is why Frank Schaeffer is such a fascinating part of this. If I were you, I'd talk to Frank about it too.
Enlighten me.
Frank Schaeffer was big into the movement. Frank Schaeffer is the one who convinced like all of the leaders of that exact time. So think Billy Graham, think all those folks. Frank Schaeffer was the one who was like, hey, we need to really go hard against abortion and against some of these like purity culture things. And Frank has since had a big shift. I interviewed him at Wild Goose a couple of years ago. And Frank Schaeffer comes to Wild Goose every year. Incredibly, like, I considers it that, like, I created this monster and now I want to take this monster down.
Ooh, when I tell you we're about to have a real end, because, like, I am just, like, I don't know, I'm really fascinated by, because, like, the question people keep asking is, like, well, how did we get here? And, like, a lot of us, there's a lot of,
the
like...
work of Brad Onishi. That's, like, the work of...
And I'm kind
Frank
I'm so,
Schaefer, yeah.
and now I'm getting really interested in doing it from like just exploring like the queer aspects of it, and how like I just look at like through, if we look at history, right? If we look at how religious things, or just like even in indigenous religious practices, is that queer folks, non-binary folks, trans folks,
Right.
are the holy ones, are the ones who are trained up as priests, are the ones who have the divine connection. It's always women and trans and queer folks, you know.
And they move the needle forward.
Yeah. And so it hasn't actually been until Western Christianity and Western, and just like Western sensibilities around gender, society, etc., that was exported to the rest of the world, that we have a suppression of the queer and the divine feminine. And so when I look at like even within evangelicalism, seeing that Lonnie Frisbee and like Marsha Stevens, who was like the mother of CCM music, like she's
Right.
and when she came out as a lesbian, she was also wiped off. Vicky Beaching, when she came out, wiped out. Like it's all of
woman
these
is
different
rad.
it's all of these different things where it's just like all of these people who were creating these big moments, these holy moments, were queer. That's not an accident.
Oof.
Ugh.
Woo. All right, so
We have to move on. So just if you like this and you want more stuff, you should make sure that you're following us on all social media so that you can stay privy.
We're gonna jump into more of that deeper,
Ugh.
especially if I think you guys should do an incredible series. I'm excited for that. If you need any help, I'll give you the connections. I know a lot of the Orange County folks.
It's gonna be fun.
I do have some question and opinion stuff. I know we only have a couple minutes.
No, let's do it. We haven't done Q's and O's in a while. Let's do it.
This one is like a fun one for us. So someone said, what are your go-to makeup products? Both of you, please answer. They wrote that. Especially in the summer heat.
I'm just gonna run to the bathroom and grab some if we want to, or do we want to talk about it?
I mean, go do that. So I'll talk
I
about
love
it while you
showing.
go
I
do
love
it.
showing off product. I think it's very fun. Be right back.
Okay, so here's the thing. There is a new product line at Target, and I think is it called Revolution? I can't even remember the name. I should run and go get mine. But it is like a foundation that is liquid that comes with its own little makeup dab brush. It is the only thing that stays on my face. If I'm going to wear any sort of cover up or any sort of like base layer, I don't usually wear a base layer in the summer. I am really lucky where I don't have to always wear a concealer or a cover up. Now, I also love, Milk makes an incredible like blush that comes in different colors. So the summer, we are already tanned, friends. So it's so hard to like decide like, hey, what are we going to wear for the summer? So Milk makes this little tiny, it almost looks like a crayon or something like that. And it stays on your cheeks forever. So when you're sweating, so again, I wouldn't suggest wearing like a base layer, like any sort of foundation or anything like that during the summer, if possible, because I think it's great to have our own skin out. Also, like our pores, they get clogged if we wear them. Eye makeup in the summer, you go to all waterproof. Everything I can do waterproof, I do waterproof. The other thing is the place I do spend money is eyeliner, because if you get a good waterproof eyeliner, you're good to go through the summer. So that's what I do. I also use Naked eyeshadow by Urban Decay.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay. Oh my gosh, all the products. I was just telling you.
I just wanted to bring all my faves. Hold on, let me get my ears in.
Yeah, I want you to be able to hear me for this moment.
Okay.
So I was just saying that I don't wear foundation or concealer in general during the summer. I don't think it's great for our pores, but if I do, there's a new brand at Target, and I think it's called like Revolution. It was a bigger brand, and then they moved into Target stores. It's great. It doesn't block my pores, so I like that. And then I use a Milk blush that comes like almost like a stick, so it's like a gel blush. I'll wear that. And then I say waterproof eyeliner, and that's the place I spend money, is my eyeliner.
I generally also, if I'm going, my thing is like I don't usually wear foundation unless I'm trying to go for a look, because I'm very like gingery, so I've got a lot of red in my face. The things I do hit though, setting spray from NYX, beauty brand, non-spawn. Also, the gay bottle was cheaper than the regular bottle, and I'll take the discount.
Yeah, that's great.
This is both good as like a setting spray, but also just like if like you're wanting to take some of like the sheen off, because like I'm a naturally dewy face, and so
We
it like
both are.
yeah, it helps with that. This is my favorite eyebrow product. I don't have eyebrows on right now, like because as you can see, a little weak. But this shit right here, let's see. Well,
The tattoo is good. I use Chella, Chella. This is
Well-
tattoo. What's the last word? I can't see.
Tattoo Studio. It's kind of like a brow, like very if you've ever used boy brow before, similar
Yes.
in substance. You could apply it in the same way, but I just use like a little small angle brush and
I overplucked in the 90s, and so now I use a Chella. So Chella is a pencil, and then that fills in my ends because I overplucked.
It's okay.
In the 90s,
You know what?
and they
Just
never
grow 'em
came
back. Just ask them to. You know,
Okay, I'll
That's how it
manifest
works.
my eyebrows.
manifest.
Let me
your eyebrows.
manifest my eyebrows.
Absolutely. Now, if I'm ever going out, it's like sometimes if I am going out for a look before I do anything, I putty primer. Why don't you zoom in to that? Like this thing.
Putty primer, Elf. That clogs my pores. Oh, on the eye, just on the
Yeah,
eye.
just on your
yeah.
eye.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
don't don't put this like over anywhere. This is basically clown white for your eyes as a base
Right.
to use this. I love the Modern Dreamer palette. It was a gift from my friend Evelyn of the internets.
I
It's
said my
super.
favorite palette during the summer is Urban Decay Naked.
I have that one.
Nice palette. It's such a nice palette.
So yeah, if you are a clown woman like me, get that because it has all the colors of the rainbow. Because I don't know how to do a subtle eye, but I also don't think that I ever want to be subtle.
Yeah, but your eyes are great. I like the eye that you do.
Thanks. In the way of skincare, things I love: black charcoal mask from Beauty Counter,
We've done
non-spawn.
this together.
This shit's amazing. It truly like within like a couple like just like after it's just like let it settle, your skin is like ooh taut pulled. You're feeling sexy and right. Follow that up with number 1 vitamin C brightening oil, and then the rejuvenating night cream.
The Beauty Counter.
I love Beauty Counter products. I'm a stan. It's an MLM for sure, but like find your one person and buy from them.
Yeah, I think I bought from you and then my other friend Michelle.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Like, it's one of those things where, like, I love their skincare products. Their makeup's okay. But, like, it just doesn't do what I need it to do all the time. So I'm a big fan of NYX products a lot. That's usually my go-to.
Yeah, their stuff is really good. I've been so surprised too about like the products that like Milk or like just like if you have one base item that you're like, oh, I love this item, I'm gonna almost build around it. I got the Milk crayon for my like the gel blush. I got that for like a birthday package from Sephora, but it's changed like what I buy now.
Wow. Are we a makeup channel now, too? We've done...
I mean, okay, we've done sports, makeup. This makes sense for us. Politics,
Yeah, I think...
religion.
Like, really, truly, I would say that we are highly informed women of culture.
I feel like we're like The View, but for people who can't handle The View.
I think that we're... You know what? Yeah. Just like that's gonna be the name of this episode. It's called "You Can't Handle the View."
Which also describes how beautiful it is out of both of our windows right
Truly.
now.
Is there any more cues?
Those are the ones I had. That's the one I had lined up that would be fun to answer. Any other one that I have are kind of in depth.
Well, then maybe let's save those. Like screenshot them, and maybe we'll answer them next week.
I love that. Friends, I'm so glad that you joined us.
Yeah, solid crew of humans. Thanks for coming by. If you wouldn't mind, go ahead and follow us across social media. I'm at the Kevin Garcia, as you can see right here on the screen. And Sarah, how do people find you?
And I'm so glad you asked. Sorry, I know that annoys you. I'm at Rev Sarah Heath on everything. And friends, Oh, someone's name is Wandering Tenor. My dog's name is Tenor. I like to think that this person is a wandering person who sings tenor.
Probably.
Answer our question. Yeah, you can find me at Rev Sarah Keith across all boards, even though I have transitioned to being a local pastor. I'm still a Rev, so you can find Rev Sarah Keith. If you want to learn more about all of my Airstream discoveries, please give us a follow. The other thing is, next week I am excited about. I think it would be really fun for us to read. We've got some really cute reviews on Apple.
Aw.
Like a little Apple review. Like they're really cute.
Let's read through the reviews. Also, if you haven't left us a rating in Apple Podcasts, would you do us a favor and go to Apple Podcasts and rate us 5 stars? Don't rate us any less because we need to get to the top of the charts. Thank you.
Thank you. Guys, thanks so much for joining us this week and for letting us be our silly self-humans. Thank you for all of us who came to thank you for all of us. Thank you for all of you.
God, thank you for all of us, you know.
Yeah, thank you for coming to the performance.
Whatever it was. Thanks for coming to the show.
It was so incredible to meet some of you in real life for the first time. John is my new best friend from San Diego, your friend who was in Hawk Nelson, that dude. We talk about Airstreams every day, and that's what we talk
and also, about. Did you know that he is also Canadian?
Yes, I did. We're from very similar areas. We've had all those conversations.
Wow.
But thank you for joining us. Make sure to join us next week.
Yeah.
And
before we go, is there anything do you need to promote anything?
Because this girl is taking 2 months of kind of sabbatical. The only thing I'm doing is this and my other podcast, which is we've got this episode that comes out on Tuesday, and then one more episode in this season is the Making Spaces podcast. It'll be wonderful for you to check out. I'm excited about this week's podcast. It's with Nathaniel Green, our mutual friend.
Nathaniel Totten Green?
Nathaniel Totten Green talks about design in a way that is really great.
He's also just so delicious. What a treat, what a dream. I would like to promote to anyone listening to this now or later, I'm going to be in Portland a week from today for Wonderfully Made in Portland, featuring myself, Rhea, the Green Witch, and also Tori Douglas Williams of our other podcast, Go Home Bible You're Drunk, as well as the White Homework podcast. Are you coming?
Yeah. What do I got to do? I'm here. Of course.
Cool. You want to come talk? Give me a third.
Sure.
Yay! Sarah Heath is featured.
I'll do it.
Cool. So go to thekevingarcia.com/tour and we will see you in Portland very soon. So I'm going to hit the music and we'll say, friends, until next time, we love you so much. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of Your Favorite Ants. I am Kevin.
And I'm Sarah.
And we love you and we're proud of you. And we hope you have a really do good things with your time. Make sure you take your medication. And Tippy says bye. Tippy.
Henry says bye. Hey,
oh, shoot.
Good boy.
Oh,
good boy. Oh, good boy.
Well, we love you, everyone. Goodbye. Have a good one.
Bye.